host, Maria. Welcome again to Unlocking Lore, the storytelling podcast in which I get to talk all that I want and tell the stories that I want to tell, and you guys only get to listen. Ha! It's so great to be back. It really is. It has been quite a roller coaster this past year, this 2022-2023, in which I've had some pretty life-changing choices and life-changing incidents in my life that, wow, it's been a ride. So, but I am back, at least for the summer. I am back with new stories and new stuff on the way. So I just want to say hello to my great friends, always there. Let's see who is in the chat. We have the Dunedain, Isildur's heir to the throne of Gondor. Hello, good sir. Thank you so much for coming. I know you always like my stories. And all the way from Dubai, it is 5:15 in the morning, Friday morning. Sam, it's so great to see you. So great to see you in the chat. I know you know how much it moves me that you wake up so early in the morning, you know, to have some chai and some stories. I hope you have some really good chai tonight, because I've got a really good story up and coming. So, but yes, it has been quite a year. As you guys know, I've moved countries. You knew that way before. I moved from South America all the way up to the Great North. I am right now in downtown Toronto now, and it's quite a change. I started off college, had to leave it, had to withdraw because of several reasons, and finally got a really, really good job. It's not in in my it wasn't in my perspective, but I am working, and amazingly enough, I'm working as a receptionist. You know, an artist and a receptionist. It happens, you know, and I'm meeting some really wonderful people at the office. They know that I'm an artist. Some of them know that I am a storyteller. Some of them don't know. Some of them know that I do crocheting. Some of them just think that, oh, well, general artist, you know, she's kind of right there, until I blow everybody's mind away with all the stuff that I do. So yeah, it's been quite a journey, and I have been looking into some stories. I do have some really, really good news with regards to storytelling. As you guys know, storytelling is a very, very subtle art. It involves the three people, or three main characters, which is you, the great audience who listens to me, the storyteller, or just the means, but the main character is the story. So it's a very, very subtle art in which we communicate, and we share wisdoms that are generational, completely generational. So if this is your first time, because I can see that are 4 or 5 people in the live stream, including myself, that would be me, because I do have myself on screen right to the side, actually, just to see how I'm doing. So if this is your first time, I really hope you enjoy the subtle art of storytelling. It's an ancient tradition that goes way, way, way back to the beginnings of, the beginnings of human beings. I mean, how did people communicate all those stories and all that, culture, when there wasn't even writing? They did. They used art. They used fiction. They used pictures on walls. They did paintings on walls, but mainly it was oral tradition, and that's it's been passed on from age to age, from generation to generation until now. And then we, the storytellers, are the ones who revive those things, dig up those stories, and set it out to the public. So don't be afraid to say hi in the chat. You guys know that I welcome everybody. I love seeing the interaction. So what storytelling news that I do have? Well, I don't know if I told you guys. You guys know that my main thing is Twitter. You guys go check me out on my Twitter account. You guys know that I am the Geeky Crochet because you guys know that I do geeky and I do crochet, hence the name. So you guys know that, or maybe don't know, I have submitted Unlocking Lore as a full presentation to the Toronto Public Library. And it has been a process. It has started off in April, in which it was in March. Oh my gosh, we have a newcomer, Troy, my good friend Troy. Okay, so Troy, is from The Office. Hi, Troy. He is also part of the he's an awesome staffer. Let's put it that way. I don't want to say too much about him because I don't know what I can say, what I can't say. This is live. Anyway, so I hope you like what you're going to hear tonight, Troy. This is Unlocking Lore, and what I was saying about the Toronto Public Library. So I did submit in March. I did what? I didn't say anything. Anyway, don't distract me. Okay, so I did submit Unlocking Lore as a storytelling program back in March to the Toronto Public Library. And then a few weeks later, I had to submit two storytellers that knew my work. And amazingly enough, the public library did get in touch with them, and they live both in Ireland and in England. And who is this in the chat? It is Ryan, Legion Games, one of his multiple channels. So awesome to see you here, Ryan. I did say in your live stream last Friday that I will be making some appearances, so don't be surprised that I will drop by on your channel. Go check out his channel. It is Friday Night's Royal Rumble, in which several panelists, some are now, always there, and some of us are fleeting, kind of like me, they go back and forth. They talk about pop culture. They do all these amazing analysis. Go check them out. Go check his. I'm so rusty with all this. Go check out his channel. Amazing things. So yes, and they got in touch with these two storytellers, and they got back to me, which was surprising. And also the public library got back to me, and I started off the process, and finally this week I was able to finish off the process, and now it's up to the Toronto Public Library to actually ask me, this will be paid gigs, something that I have been working on since I started off this art, which was back in 2010. 2011, that's when I started off storytelling. It has been 12, 13 years. My math is really bad. So yeah, hopefully guys, keep your fingers crossed, good vibes, prayers, everything, so that it could start off very quickly and hopefully, build up to something a little bit more. But yes, those are my latest news on the Toronto Public Library, on the storytelling. So yeah. But anyway, tonight we have an amazing story that I encountered this a few months back on some storytelling podcasts that I do when I walk home from work. Actually, I just pop in my things and I just listen to stories. And so this story is from the town of Norfolk, and it really resonated with me because it talks about, fulfilling your dreams, to actually, go out there and capture those dreams, And it also talks about believing in those dreams. So I really hope that you enjoy this story. We will talk a little bit afterwards. Remember that you can always comment, but I will not be attending to the chat while we're doing the storytelling because, it ruins the magic. So, anyway, I hope you guys like it. This is the Pedlar of Swaffham. In a world where legends come back to life and magic is in the air, we gather around to listen and delve deep into the lore. This is Unlocking Lore. Have you ever had a dream that is recurring and recurring, and you think maybe it's something that happens? Maybe it's something that's real? Well, this is a story about a recurring dream that happened way, way, way over in England in the county of Swaffham in Norfolk. You see, there was a peddler, and this peddler, as you probably know, would go from town to town with all his things, and he would sell those things, and he would bring back that money back to his town of Swaffham. And he had a dog who was super loyal and very, very energetic, as usually dogs are. And it was one of those days in which the peddler walked on and on and on and decided to go further off than he usually did with his things, with his items, to go sell and bring back all that money. So he walked further. But obviously, when you walk further, you have to walk back. And he was so tired that just outside Swaffham, there was an orchard and a big, big oak tree. And he decided to take a small nap. And, well, the dog was also tired, but he was a little bit more energetic. But again, his master, decided to take a small nap under that oak tree. And there he lay with his hands on his back, and he slept. But as you probably guessed, something happened in that dream. The peddler started to look around in his dream, and he would hear, voices and people mumbling, and he started to look around, and he was no longer in his beloved town of Swaffham. He was far away in a big city where there was a big bridge and a river that goes by, and the bridge was aligned with stores on one side or the other, and he would just listen to all the hustle and bustle. And he immediately knew where that was. That was London. It was the great city. What was he doing there? And in his dream, he walked up to the middle of that bridge, and he would just stand there and look right and left and right and left. And then suddenly he heard a voice, a very ethereal voice, telling him that if he went all this way to journey to London, to stay in that very, very place, in that bridge, great news would come to him. Later on, he woke up, and obviously, well, a dream is a dream. What are we doing? We believe in dreams. So the peddler just brushed it off. His dog was rubbing up and down, now excited to go back home. He grabbed the few things that he had left, and he went back to his house, and then he stayed there. And you would think that, oh, well, that's it. That's the end of it. But that's not the end of the story. It's not. Because then afterwards, night after night, he would have the same dream, that he would be in the city and he would walk up that London Bridge, and he would stand right in the middle, and he would hear the hustle and bustle of people, and then he would hear that ethereal voice saying if he went on that journey to London to stand right in the middle of that London Bridge, then great news would come to him. Until finally, a week later, well, that's 7 days in which he kept dreaming and dreaming. He said, this has to be something. So he grabbed his things, a few things that he had for about 5 days, 6 days, and then he left. And it took him 3 days to get to London. And in that journey, he would sleep either in a small cottage or he would ask for shelter, but he would walk and his dog was pouncing up and down, excited for the journey. And on he would go. Until finally he arrived at the big city with the London Tower up in the sky. And it took him a few hours later to get to that London Bridge. And he walked up, and finally he felt, yes, after 7 days, so many days dreaming, this has to say something. Well, the first day, he gained nothing except a few curious glances of people who would come by. But that didn't stop him. No. He went back. He slept in an inn he had acquired with the few savings that he had brought, because you never know, it's kind of a rainy day, but he did bring something. And on the second day, he went back. And there he went up to the bridge from morning until evening. And he would stand there and look right and left, waiting for this good news until, some curious person would come up and look at him. And he would look in his eyes and say, are you the bringer of my good news? No, they would say. And those curious glances became glares and a bit of a scorn. What is a peddler doing in the middle of London Bridge, just waiting there? On the third day, he went up. Again, at sunrise. He went up to London Bridge. He stood in the middle, and he would pace back and forth and back and forth. And the shopkeepers started to really wonder what was this peddler doing in the middle of London Bridge and doing nothing, just pacing up and down. And there was this one shopkeeper who was just so curious. He would start talking with his customers to see, to gain information, to see what would happen, and didn't really lead up to anything until finally on the third day he couldn't resist the curiosity, and he just closed his shop, told his customers to wait just a minute, and then he just went up. He said, "What are you doing here?" And the peddler said, "Are you the bringer of good news?" "The bringer of good news? What rubbish is this? I've been looking at you for 3 days. You were there, standing. What are you doing here?" So the peddler started to say how he had dreamt in his town that he was here in London Bridge, and he heard a voice that if he were to take the journey all the way up to London Bridge and he would stand there, then he would hear some good news. Somebody would bring him some good news, and how he dreamed of this dream several times. And the shopkeeper just looked at him and as if you actually believe in dreams. Ha! If I were to believe in dreams, I would have left long ago. You think I would? The other day, I was just dreaming about a town in the middle of nowhere called Swaffham. And there, outside the town of Swaffham, there was an orchard, and there was an oak tree, and that somehow I was digging. I was digging in underneath, and then underneath that oak tree, there was a big chest, and I would open the chest, and such riches. You think I would go all the way to Swaffham, in the middle of nowhere, just to find? It's nothing, just for a dream, he said. And he started laughing. But the peddler, well, he didn't join in the laughter. He really thanked the man. And he grabbed his things, and with his trusty dog, went back. And just like it took him 3 days to get there, it took him 3 days to go back. And at the end of his trip, he didn't even stop by the orchard. He went directly to his house. And in his house, he put all his things away. He was tired, he was exhausted, but didn't stop there. He grabbed a spade and off he went, and it was dusk. Off he went, and he went out into this orchard, and then he saw that oak, the same oak which he had taken a nap all those days before, in which the dream had started. And he started working. And shovel after shovel after shovel of dirt, he worked into the night, until finally, in the middle of the night, he heard a cluck. He hit something hard. Down he went with his dog. His dog was happily helping out with the digging, and he felt something hard. He grabbed the spade, and with renewed energy, he just shoveled and shoveled and shoveled and shoveled and shoveled, until finally he found it, a chest. And it was a big chest, so it took him more time to actually dig around and take out all that dirt, until finally he was able to haul up that chest up to the ground. And he broke the lock that had it with his spade. And he opened it. And up there, inside, was a chest full of riches. Jewels, doubloons, gold, pearls. A chest filled with treasure that would last him a lifetime. He grabbed those things, and you can imagine what happened next. The peddler became the richest man in the town, and he was so grateful that he had the church built in thanksgiving of his newfound treasure. And he started to use that treasure to do good and to gain more fortune, obviously, because you have to do something with it. Not only help the poor, but also help try to gain some more so you can keep on helping. And that's what he did. And the people were so thankful in that town of Swaffham, of the peddler, that they actually have a picture of him, a statue, there in the middle of the town with his trusty dog. And there he was known as the great benefactor of Swaffham, a place where dreams, well, they really do come true. Well, thank you so much. I hope you guys liked the story of the Pedlar of Swaffham. Again, this is something that really resonated with me, as you can probably see why now. You know, dreams really do come true. And thank you so much. I can hear the clouds. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. I know. Oh, wait. You guys can pass out, the hat over there, and I guess Troy can send it to me afterwards. So yes, so this story, I actually do have something to show you guys with regards to this story, because this here is the Pedlar of Swaffham. So they did erect this statue because of the tale. So we don't know if he was actually real or he wasn't. Some say that he was called John. Oh, I forget his last name. Chapman. That's it. John Chapman. But this is the town of Swaffham, and this is the actual statue that they have of the peddler. So I heard this story on another storytelling podcast, in which the storyteller just basically kind of reads the story. As you guys know, storytelling and story reading are two different types of things. We have story reading in which you take literally and you read the story. You can add voices and anything, but you are taking a literal type of story, in the literacy form, and basically reading it. And then you have storytelling, in which I do not have I have absolutely no dialogue. Everything is from my head. So what I do is I read a story, or I listen to a story, and I imagine those images, and literally it's like I imagine those things, all these photos, like a movie, and I describe it to you pace by pace. So that is storytelling, and in which it differs from story reading. So I was listening to this storytelling podcast, which I always do. I go to work with this, and I walk from work with this. And this story really resonated with me. And I thought, wow, I need to integrate this into my repertoire. So, and I have been looking into some unknown stories, for example, from the Grimm's folk tales. You guys know Cinderella. You guys know Sleeping Beauty. You guys know Rumpelstiltskin. All these great stories, but there are literally thousands of other unknown stories that are just waiting to be shown to the public, and that's why I'm here. I love those ones. They're dark. Sometimes they're dark. They're not the sugar-coated type of stories. This one was a nice one just to start off the season, but there are so many more. So anyway, thank you. I hope you guys liked it. And just for the record, we will be doing storytelling, unlocking lore every other week, because right now I can't really commit to a weekly session until such time that I can. But in the next 2 weeks, we will have another storytelling session. But you will be seeing more of me out there in the live stream world. I will be joining new other live streams. I will be joining Ryan's live stream in a few days. I do have another live stream, an artistic live stream that I have been invited to. Stay tuned for that. And always, you guys know where to find me. All the links are in the description below. I think. I imagine. I mean, I did put it. So you guys go check it out there. And with that, we are going to say goodnight, because that is the show. That is all. I am so rusty. Gosh, I really need to do more of this. But anyway, thank you so much for coming. Sam, I hope you have a wonderful date. It is Friday over there. Sam, again, is from Dubai. So awesome to see you again. Dunadan, you have yourself a good night. Troy, You also have a good night. And yes, I do turn off the lights because it's more, it's a better ambience, than just like bright light. So, and thank you. Yes, I know. It is amazing. So, and that I kind of pulled that one off myself. I know. I'm hot. Hey, good night, everybody. I will see you in 2 weeks.